Hello everyone, myself Sabri and I welcome you to our channel Solution Bridge Network and one-stop solution for all your Power Platform tutorials.
Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to understand what is a cascading dropdown and how to use a patch function to save the selected values from the dropdown to a data source. First, let's understand what is a cascading dropdown. So this is a type of dependent dropdown where the option in one dropdown list dynamically change based on the selection in another dropdown list. This is commonly used in application where the data is hierarchical. So for instance, we can consider country, state, city, or category, subcategory, product, or even a department, team, employee relationship. I have taken the first use case, which is country, state, and city here. If you see my screen, you will be able to see the three drop downs. One is for country, state, and city, and I have a simple patch function. Let me take you to the source and show the list what I have used in this Power App. So I do have two lists. First one is cascading dropdown where I have a country, state, and city as the three columns which are of type text. I do have one more list which is called as cascading patch. If you see here, I do have the same level of columns and it is an empty list, and I'm using this list to store the informations which I'm gonna patch from the Power App. Let me take you back to the Power App. I have configured these dropdowns. So if you see, you will get all the countries in the first dropdown. Whenever it's blank, you may not be able to see any other dependent dropdown values. So whenever you select India, the state auto filters to all the available states which is tagged to the country India. And if you select a state, then the city automatically filters to the available city in the state selected. Let me select Coimbatore. And once you patch this, this will save the information to our cascading patch list. If you reload, you will be able to see the entry what we have patched from the application. India, Tamil Nadu, and Coimbatore got patched. So now let's see how to create these dependent dropdowns and a patch control. Let me go to the edit mode of the app and let's copy these three labels so that I can use it in a different screen where we're going to create the same function from scratch. I've just pasted. So let me go to the insert menu, add the drop downs. So let me add a drop down, come and place it near the country, and I would like to rename it as DRP country. So I'll copy the drop down, paste it again, arrange it accordingly near the state, and call the drop down as DRP state. Similarly, let's copy one more time, arrange it accordingly near the city, call it as DRP city. So now we have three drop downs and the three text labels. Let's add a button which we're gonna use in the later phase to patch the data. So let me add the button. I would rename this button as patch. So I'm going to the properties and in the text field, I'm changing the text button to patch. Let me take you to the data source. So if you see here, as said earlier, I have used two SharePoint lists as the source. One is cascading dropdown, which has the value, and the next is the cascading patch, which we are using to save the information. So let me go to the tree view, and now let's select the first dropdown, which is country. Upon selection, you can see that the properties pane got opened, or else you can use this properties to open it again if it is already hidden. Go to the items. In the items drop down, you need to select the list where you have the values. So I would like to select the cascading drop down, and immediately after you select the cascading drop down, you will have a value column. In this drop down, you will see all the list of columns available on that SharePoint list. Now we need to make sure to select the relevant value. So here it is country, so you can select country. Once this is done, you can click on Alt and click the drop down so that you will be able to see the list of countries which you have in the SharePoint list. But you can notice that the values are getting repeated. So let's use a distinct function. Make sure these values are always distinct. Select the drop down, go to the item properties, and here start typing the code. So it's distinct of open bracket, the source name, comma, the distinct column elements what you want. So the column is country and close the bracket. Immediately after doing this, you can see that the value is changed from country to value. The reason being distinct gives the output in a form of a table with one column as value. That's the reason your value column automatically picked value, and now you will not be able to change. Now, whenever you click on Alt and click the drop down, you will be able to see the distinct countries from the SharePoint list. Now, let's go to the state where you need to do the same. So, click the items, tag it as cascading drop down, and in the value, make sure you are tagging the state. So, let's scroll down and select the state. Now, we need to make sure the state available here is only from USA. To achieve that, you need to use the control depends on, which is directly below the value section. Click depends on, and now we need to fill in the fields. So it asks what is the parental control for this state. So the parental control for state is country. So select this drop down and select DRP country. And this is the only output value because we have used a distinct function. Coming to the matching field, so this is our source. This country matches with the country column in the cascading dropdown. So we need to make sure to select the country here as well. Once you click on apply, now whenever you click on Alt and click the states, you see that the states available in USA is shown, but you can obviously see there is a duplication. So we will use the distinct function again in the items property. So let's type in distinct, open bracket. Here we would like to get the distinct from state. So type in state and close the bracket. Now you will see only the unique values of state. We need to repeat the same thing to the city. So I'll go to the items, tag the cascading dropdown, and city, it's automatically tagged. Now click on depends, but the one change here is now the parental control for city is state, not the country. So we need to make sure we select DRP state, and in the cascading dropdown, which is the matching field, it should match with the column state. So in the cascading dropdown, make sure you select the state as well. Once you click on apply, whenever you hold on Alt and click the drop down, you will see only the values of California. You might have remembered whenever you are not selecting anything on the first drop down, the second and third drop down were blank in our initial screen. To achieve that, select all the three drop downs using control. In the properties, go to advanced and search for empty. You will have a property called allow empty selection, which will be false by default, and make sure to change it to true. What this does is this will allow you to have an empty value in the dropdown. Whenever the parent is empty, obviously the child will be empty. Now, the final thing what we're going to do is to patch. So let me click on the button, go to the onSelect property and write the command patch, call the data source, which is cascading patch. This is the list which I need to patch the data. Here we are going to create a new record. So we use defaults of cascading patch, close the bracket, open the curly bracket. The first one is country, which is drp country dot selected dot value. Next is state, which is drp state dot selected dot value, and the final one is city, which is drp city dot. Here it will not be a value. The reason being we have not used a distinct function, so we need to make sure select city. Let's close the curly bracket and then close the patch function bracket. Let's run the app. So now let's select the country Australia, and if you click the state, you will see all the states belongs to Australia. I would like to select South Australia, and in the city there are two cities which belongs to South Australia. Let's select Mount Gambier. And once if you click patch, this gets patched to our data source. If you go to the source and do a refresh, you will be able to see the new entry what you have patched: Australia, South Australia, and Mount Gambier. By this we come to end of this video. Here we have understood how to configure a dependent dropdown and how to use a patch function to submit the data to a source. This cascading dropdowns improves the user experience where user do not have to scroll through the irrelevant options, and this also prevents errors which ensures valid selections are made. And this also increases the data efficiency. The reason being it reduces the amount of data loaded at once. By this, we come to end of this video. So stay tuned for a new video on the patch function where we will be drilling down each of the components in more detail. If you have any questions or clarifications, please post it in the comment section and we will be happy to help.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, hit the like button, and press the bell icon for our new video alerts.